Welcome back to the Day of the Game Show, everybody. The final edition for the 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games. It has come to a close for men, women, and teams. And for the first time in 4 years, we have a men's champion that is not named Rich Froning.
And what a way to end it. Such exciting fashion. It came down to that final event, and I can't remember a finish like that so far.
What an amazing day in general. The teams, the men, the women, it all came down to the final event to pick the winner.
We're going to make our way through everything, but let's start with the men's final leaderboard after 4 days of competition. We put these guys through the ringer. Ben Smith in first place, the champ after 7 times competing at the games. Matt Fraser second for the second year in a row. And then Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson just stuck around all week and rounds out the top 3. But your champion, Ben Smith.
I mean, 7 consecutive finishes to close out the weekend of 7th or better. I mean, what more can you say about consistency than that? There's always been talk about the next up-and-comer, the young phenoms of the sport. But Ben Smith was a young phenom before it was cool to be a young phenom. Back in 2009 when he showed up at the games, he took 64th place now. And this is really just a high point of the journey that now results in as a CrossFit Games champion.
I actually had a conversation with Ben in January, and he told me, you know what, I really feel like I can win the games this year. And he was very confident when he said it, and I believed him. I mean, he came out here, he was healthy, like Pat said, all week. Just did an amazing job suffering through all these events. Great job, Ben. We are really proud of you.
And why wouldn't you believe you could do it? He beat Pat Sherwood on a hill sprint back in 2009.
I mean, that
no small
basically is the metric of a champion right there. And by that metric, we have a lot of champions yet undiscovered. Second place, second year in a row, Matt Fraser.
Yeah, you know, he might walk away a little frustrated at this second place finish, but it's no small feat. He led coming into the final event, but was unable to hold on. But what an amazing weekend by him. I mean, some great performances across the board. He's the only male athlete to have 2 better consecutive finishes than Fraser at the games is Rich Froning. I mean, that's elite company to be in. You know what? He's a star in the sport. His future is bright. And I will go out and say it. I firmly believe that one day we'll be talking about him as CrossFit Games champion.
And he was leading going into that last event and couldn't pull it off. But I will tell you, he made up so much time on the assault bike. Ben Smith was already off of the assault bike when he got on, and he came to the kettlebells and did his deadlifts at the same time as Ben Smith's first set.
We will be talking about him standing on the top of the podium in the future, but what about third place, okay? Young man, second youngest male competitor we have from Iceland, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, who honestly, he just shocked me all week.
Yeah, you know, he's one of those guys that I'll admit, we were sitting here, we saw him towards the top of the leaderboard early on. We're just kind of like, oh, okay, you know, eventually he'll kind of, you know, drop down, maybe down to 10th, 8th, 9th, somewhere along the lines. But you know what? He held strong. You know, he was kind of like that guy you just couldn't kill. You couldn't get rid of him all week long. You know, he had a bad finish. He'd come right back and have a top finish. Hats off to him, man. I did not see this coming.
He was a great finish. He had 2 7th-place finishes and 2 5th-place finishes. Just summed up his week. Steady as he went. Very good. Had a win in Murph. Just an amazing thing for him. Second youngest. Handled the pressure well. Very impressive.
Absolutely. So the men's competition has come to a close. We put a bow on it. When you're thinking about this later on at the hotel, what's going to kind of stick out in your head?
I just think the amazing battle between all of these athletes. It was a brutal week for all these guys, and for it to come down to the last event, so exciting for all of us up here and all the fans in the stands, and just amazing performance from all the athletes.
It's been probably the craziest men's competition I've ever seen, and you know what, that last event when it came down to almost a winner-take-all between Ben and Matt, you know, you kind of had goosebumps towards the end when Matt made that charge to catch him. But you know what, hats off to Ben Smith, such a fun year.
The programming definitely tested all of these athletes unlike I'd ever seen before. Also, the teams were tested, and at the end of 4 days of competition, the team leaderboard shook out with CrossFit Mayhem Freedom on top. That is headed by Rich Froning, the 4-time previous individual champion, Milford in second place, and then Ute, who has won the whole thing twice before, takes third place. But Rich Froning, I mean, honestly, he says, you know, done competing as an individual. My goal now is to have a future as a team and get an affiliate cup, and it happens immediately.
Happens immediately, but they did struggle early on, and they were, I think, in their lowest place was 18th, but they made a move on Saturday, and then they ended up winning 3 of their last 6 events, took third in the worm clean and jerk. just an amazing finish. We would expect nothing less but Rich Froning, but the rest of his team really stepped up to the plate. Congratulations to CrossFit Mayhem.
And they won in true Froning fashion. You know, Rich usually has a big final day of competition. You know, I don't want to say that he stays out of the limelight before that, but to a degree. And Mayhem did the same thing. We had very little talk about them until the final day. They just kept creeping, and all of a sudden, yeah, we'll take another gold medal. It's going to look good at home.
And I do think it's really cool. James Hobart, he's been on 2 different affiliate teams that have won the CrossFit Games. He was on CrossFit New England, now with CrossFit Mayhem. Amazing performance by James.
Hobart knows how to pick them. If he changes teams, we'll have to look at that. For a little bit more information about CrossFit Mayhem, we're going to go over to Tommy Marquez.
Thanks, Pat. Once again on Sunday, Rich Froning is victorious, except this year it's in the Affiliate Cup and it's with his resilient team from CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. And how exactly did they do that? They made an impressive charge up the leaderboard. After Wednesday, they were sitting in 17th place, a position I'm sure Rich is not used to being in, 72 points behind. But you know what? They've made a charge up the leaderboard placement-wise, but they were still 72 points behind after Friday in 11th. Then Saturday is when they really started to make a push all the way up to 4th, just 36 points behind first place. And then after the event number 18, heading into that Worm finale, they were just 15 points behind the leader. And you know what? They made a charge. They finished 3rd place in the event, and when all was said and done, they were in 1st place. And now social media is abuzz. We're seeing people send out some tweets with some celebratory shots. Here is Mayhem Freedom on the floor the moment after they were announced as Affiliate Cup champions. Some other cool ones, people celebrating as well. Here's the Mayhem team out on the soccer field celebrating another strong finish from them. And you know what? It's one of the most exciting Affiliate Cup finishes we have seen to date. And once again, Rich Froning and his team stand atop the podium.
Now, as Tommy saunters back over from the go-to board to the desk, I think it's fair to maybe start the conversation. You know, we've only had 9 CrossFit Games so far. Rich Froning has 5 championships. Is it too early to start talking about a dynasty?
You know, maybe he had a dynasty as an individual, but as a team, I think it's a little too early to start. I kind of separate the team and individual competition in terms of putting that label on that, but you know what better way to start a dynasty than, you know, winning your first year on the Affiliate Cup?
Well, yeah, and everyone else should be on notice. They came out here in their first year and they won the competition. So I think Rich's legacy, you know, for the individuals, for the teams, he had a teen out here that trains at his affiliate that ended up winning the teen competition. So I think Rich's reach is far and wide. I think he was much more relaxed this year. Just an amazing performance.
We need to start going down and training Mayhem a little bit, bump my fitness up. In 2nd place for the weekend, a great affiliate, CrossFit Milford, that just the whole way through didn't care if you were NorCal, Ute, or Mayhem. They just showed up.
Yeah, you know, they haven't been to the games since 2010. The last 3 years, they've been narrowly missed out on qualifying. You know, they were so consistent all weekend. 9 finishes inside the top 5. You know, to place on the podium after not being at the games is outstanding. Hats off to Milford for hanging tough. We've had all this talk about the Big 4 teams and how they were going to sweep the podium or they do so well. You know what? They went toe-to-toe with them, and they should be proud about that, and it should be fuel for the fire next year to come back strong.
Yeah, and I hand it to them. They started out the week with a 26th place finish in the Pure Paddle event, and I just think that, you know, coming back, like you said, 15 top 10 finishes to finish out the week, very consistent across the board, and, you know, not getting all the hype as the other teams and dealing with all the pressure was outstanding.
Well, you mentioned consistency. What about Ute CrossFit? I mean, they have been on the podium 3 of the last 4 years.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to argue with that. They're very quietly building one of the best Affiliate Cup team resumes out there. You know, even after taking a break where Mandy Janowitz went individual, so did Tommy Hackenbrook, you know, they come back very strongly, a good finish to the weekend. They finished 2nd in 3 of the last 4 events. I know it maybe not what they wanted because they were leading at one point and they probably wanted to end up on the podium as any team would. But you know, it's a good starting point for Tommy to come back into the Affiliate Cup after taking a year off. They can come back, learn a little bit. They've got some young guys on their team. I think they'll be back even better next year.
I definitely think they will. You know, knowing their captain, Tommy Hackenbrook, he's going to go back. They're going to retool, and it's going to be a great next year. But I think throwing his hat in the fire and being so competitive this year, I think was great for the competition.
It's only fair, right? We just chatted a second ago asking if Mayhem could potentially be a dynasty. Well, look at Ute's resume. Do they qualify as well?
If they had won this year, yes. I think dynasties are measured in championships. You know, they've got back-to-back. You think about maybe some of the major dynasties in basketball, football, you know, multiple championships in a row, but taking a year off, having that break and coming back and finishing third just doesn't quite do it, but they're definitely up there.
I haven't agreed with Tommy often this week. But
Don't do it.
This last show, I am actually going to agree with you on something. Like
We
you
should
said,
just end the show, end on a high note.
Yep.
We're done.
I think taking the year off. I think if he comes back, if they come back and they can make a run, then maybe we can start to talk about their dynasty.
So to be continued.
Exactly.
The last thing we got to enjoy was the women throwing down. At the end of 4 days of competition, their leaderboard has Katrine Davidsdottir, your winner, the Icelandic superstar. Tia Claire Toomey, such an exciting rookie, in second place, and also from Iceland, Sarah Sigmundsdottir in third place. What an incredible 100% international podium. And Tommy, Caity, Katrine Davidsdottir, none of us had the bullseye on her going into the weekend.
I will give anyone out there $1 if they could tell me they predicted this podium, but how impressive was Katrine? 4 of the last 5 events were inside the top 10. You know, what was key to her was damage control. She, in her bad events, didn't finish lower than 21st. No one else in the top 10 was able to have a worse finish better than 30th. So while all the other girls were piling up 32nd, 35th, 34th, you know, she was quietly kind of gaining ground, and then she closed in the best way possible with an event win. Seeing her beast those kettlebell deadlifts was awesome. I will say it's Froning-esque to see her close out like that.
Yeah, just an amazing finisher on those kettlebells. We were up here just in awe of like, oh my goodness, she's going to go unbroken. But, I think her training leading up to this, she trains with Annie Thorisdottir, she trains with other games athletes. After missing the games last year, fire in her belly to come back here and do well. Just amazing performance all week, getting through this brutal week.
And she is an incredibly just sweet person, friendly. She's going to be a fantastic champion, I have no doubt whatsoever. In second place, Rookie of the Year from Australia, Tia Claire Toomey.
I mean, she's only 22 years old, and really, who could have predicted this? She's already won a national title in weightlifting out in Australia, and now she can add a CrossFit Games podium to her resume. And she did it in impressive fashion, 8 finishes of 6th place or better. I mean, you can't really ask for much of a better year as a rookie than maybe, obviously you want to win, but to be on top of the podium and look around and see the daughters and see all these big names behind her on the leaderboard, that's impressive.
Yeah, coming in here, she was second in her region, so I don't think anyone expected, like you said, but she never really had the highs and lows, just steady as she went, and had an amazing performance. I think she'll improve upon this and have a great next year as well.
Some of her fans from Australia just came over to the set a second ago, and of course, they were all about it, and they said expect big things from her in the future as well. In third place, Sarah Sigmundsdottir, such an exciting rookie to watch.
And I think Sarah Sigmundsdottir had all the hype coming in here as a rookie, and she did not disappoint. Was on top of the leaderboard for most of the weekend. Very impressive performance by the rookie. I only look for her to improve.
Yeah, she may be a little bit disappointed that she was so close to a title. She had it in her hands and it slipped away coming into the last event. But we talked to her in her athlete interviews earlier this week, and she said she was just looking for that top 10 finish. That's what she had her sights set on. And I bet if you told her before this, coming into it, that she would end up in third place on the podium ahead of the likes of Sam Briggs, Carl Webb, Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, and Annie Thorisdottir, I think she would have been ecstatic. You know what? She should be ecstatic now.
Oh, she has a very, very bright future ahead of her. Let's take in one fell swoop a look at everyone who made the podium. Ben Smith, your men's champion after trying for so many years. Katrine Davidsdottir in first place, especially after not making the games last year. And then CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. Rich Froning just giving it the Midas touch. Gold medal just raining down there in Tennessee. Absolutely incredible. Can't wait to see them throw down again. But none of this happens without the fans and the volunteers. I'm out of a job. We don't have a great competition. This comes to a grinding halt, so we would like to take a few minutes to say thank you.
Dear fans and volunteers of the 2015 CrossFit Games season,
Thank you.
Thank you for the late nights and the early mornings.
thank you for spending your time off.
Vacation days, weekends,
and a piece of your life helping us make the CrossFit Games run.
Thank you for donating your time.
Not for money,
Not for glory.
but to be a part of something greater.
A movement to inspire the world to be stronger,
Fitter, healthier. Thank you for cheering loud and creating a palpable energy every time we take the floor.
Thank you for taking care of us.
thank you for sharing your love of CrossFit and the affiliate community.
For traveling all over the world to support us.
Without you, none of this would be possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will say it again from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. You guys absolutely rock. I can't believe another year has kind of come to a close, right? Just a parting thoughts from the 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games.
You know what? This is the best test of fitness we have seen today. It's the best yet. And you know what? Every year our athletes evolve. What they're capable of evolves and improves. And so, you know what? The test has to evolve with it to meet the demands of these athletes, push the limits of human performance, you know, and really be the test that the label the fittest on earth demands. And that's what this was.
Yeah, and I just think you couldn't have asked for a better battle in all of the competitions. Teams, men, women, we all got what we came here for. They put on a great show. The athletes did a great job this week. Just an amazing 2015 season in general.
100%. And the 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games brought us all that we could have asked for, from the introduction of the team division, showing us what the future is going to look like, to the Masters, showing us incredible longevity. But today, the individuals and the teams absolutely poured their hearts out for us, put on a hell of a show. We thank you for it. For Tommy and Caity, I'm Pat. We will see you back here next year.